And welcome back to Shoulder Tap here at Top Step TV. Mick, it's been a minute.
What up?
You and I haven't done one of
What
these
up,
in a minute.
Andre?
Yeah, it's been.
I
It's.
know.
I'm pumped to do this, man. I watch
Happy
every day.
to happy to be on with you. You always bring the energy. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, we're here to talk about some of our best traders here on Shoulder Tap. So without further ado, let's get right into it because I know we've got some traders to cover. Markets have been moving. We are subject to headline risk, so it's gonna be very interesting to see how some of these cards are looking. So let's jump right into it. Who do we got first?
Let's take a look at it. Before we get into the cards themselves, want to kind of touch on what we did last week. I always talk about how many people we called up to live and then how many of those live accounts got off-boarded for hitting the max loss limit. So, Andre, last week was the second week in a row that we actually had a net change moving away from adding people to the live account. So last week we added 11. We called up 11 XFA traders to live, but we offboarded 14 live accounts. Now, I can't recall the exact numbers from the week before, but we had a net change. I think we lost like 9. So 2 weeks in a row, we've closed more live accounts than we've brought people up. I mean, if you look at an equities chart with these narrow ranges and stuff like that, you might be able to put a little rhyme or reason to it. But yeah, over the last couple of weeks, we haven't had the call ups like I've been used to seeing. We always add more people than we lose. Anyways, that doesn't go. That doesn't say that we didn't have really good trading last week. There was a lot of good trading last week. But that was last week. This is this week. I do want to talk about some shout outs. We've got Nicholas T. He's up $2,600 this morning in his live account. Eddie's up $5,300 in their live account. Julio up $3,300 in the live account. Farouz up $3,300. And I think we might have heard about it earlier, but Coach Dakota, who made $30,000 last week, did hit his $9,000 daily loss limit today. He was trading the Nikkei overnight and had kind of cannonballed it, to be honest with you, Andre. He was adding to he was doing one lots at a time, scaling in, which I like, but he scaled in as it was going against him. I think he ended up getting like 12 or 13 contracts on before getting flattened when he crossed the $9,000 threshold. I heard him early. I saw him earlier in the chat not too long ago actually mentioned that he had hit his daily loss limit. That's an expanded loss limit. Again, for everybody watching, once you're in a live account, we're willing to provide expanded risk parameters on these accounts as long as it's a reasonable request or it makes sense. So Coach Dakota was up over $120,000, probably I think $130,000 last week in the account. And so, he wanted to trade a little bit bigger. We gave him additional position sizing. He needed a bigger daily loss limit to accommodate that larger position sizing. We gave that to him. And I don't think it's a big deal. It makes sense. He's got a big account balance, needs trading bigger, needs to risk a little bit more. That's what he got. But what I like what he said in the chat, he said he hit his daily loss limit and he was going to wrap up his tax stuff. For all of you traders out there that are in XFAs or in live accounts, I'm not going to give tax advice. Well, I'm going to give a small little bit of tax advice, Andre.
Here we go.
We have issued so many payouts over just in 2023 alone. So last year, we've got so many payouts that we're sending out this year. For all of you traders out there that are taking these payouts, do remember that the tax man cometh. So if you're taking whatever your amount is, open up a separate checking account or savings account. And just as a rule of thumb, and this is my little sliver of advice that's not tax advice, just shell away 30% of whatever you take in payouts into this separate account. Keep it there, because for a lot of people that are used to being on a W-2 getting the pay stub, you're going to need to actually write some quarterly checks when you're taking these payouts. So do shell that money aside. You do not want to go burning through that money only to find that you're not paying what you need on your quarterly estimates for the taxes. So I like the 30% and just pretend it's not even there. All right, Andre, let's dive in. I've got a couple shoulder taps here for some of our traders, and then a couple shout outs, and then one shoulder tap that we're gonna finish up with. So if we could beat me to it. We got a card for David here. David is someone that we called up from XFA to live last week, Andre, and I wanted to feature them because David and then the next person we're going to get to, Jacob. These are singles hitters, and these are traders that traded really well in the XFA over a long period of time. David here spent 41 days in his XFA before getting called up. So I mention this sometimes when we have these people that have small average daily P&Ls. These traders are hitting singles, and sometimes they can fly under the radar because they're not having big account balances that show up really quickly, from big swings or anything like that. But these are the traders that I like the most, Andre. It's small, hitting singles, consistent profitability. And David looks really good here. Trading a lot of products too. They've got all the equity indices covered. They dip their toes in the currencies. There wasn't too much activity in the yen, the British pound, or the euro. But they're also trading gold and silver too, which I like. There's action in those markets.
Yes, there is.
Silver's a big contract for anybody that hasn't traded silver. $25 a tick. So the money comes and goes pretty quickly. But they don't trade a ton of silver, but it's on there, and I like seeing that. So awesome stats here. We got 78% winning days. Andre, I know you love the high winning day percentages.
Big time.
And these days, I like this a lot. Average winning days, $486. But their average losing day is only 480.
Beautiful.
So on a day-to-day basis, I like this. It's kind of I'm not going to call it the risk reward. I mean, it kind of is. It's daily risk reward.
Yeah.
It's 1-to-1. And I like this because they're profitable most of the time. And when they're having these losing days, they are not letting them get bigger than their average winning days. It's something we don't see a lot for a lot of traders out there. You typically see the average losing day is bigger than the average winning day, and that's a big no-no. It's not what you want. Let me take a peek at the trade report here while we're speaking about winning days.
I'm going to notice while you take a look at that trade report. I mean, these are the type. You said it's an XFA for 41 days, and with these type of stats, this is long. These David C is set up for the long term here. I know you like that with the base hits and the high winning percentage. These are stats that's going to keep you around the game for a long time. That's the name of this game. It's not just, make 50 grand in a day and then the next 40 days you're pissing it all away. It's the consistent little hits, the $486 a day over 41 days that get you to live funded. This is great stuff, Mick.
Yeah, we get way more excited about that. Andre, I mean, for those of you that don't know, people that have the big days, the quick success, only to give it all back, we here at Top Step call those Papa shots. They're Papa shots. So David is not a Papa shot. And you know what? Over the 41 days in the XFA, they've taken a handful of payouts too.
Beautiful.
And with these payouts, they're not taking that big 50% lump sum that we allow them to take. They're just taking 1,000 here, 1,000 there. There's a couple payouts that are just for $300 too. And I really like that because I know when I started trading, I wanted to get my account balance up to some big round numbers before I started taking payouts. And in holding off on taking those payouts, it wasn't until it was hard for me to appreciate that the dollar value of the account balance. It was like just an electronic number on the computer screen. Yep. Because I looked at it that way early on, it allowed me to kind of abuse the account on some days when I had those bad losing days. I let them get bigger. What's another 1,000? What's another 1,000? That kind of thing. And only when I started taking payouts on a regular basis, I had a conversation with my dad, who was one of my mentors, and he's like, "You got to pay yourself regularly. It doesn't matter 100%. If you're taking $200." And when I started doing that, it added a different psychological aspect to the trading where I knew I was a little bit more strict, and I was a little bit more strict with my losses because I knew that that money wasn't a number on a computer screen anymore. That was if I eroded my account more in the day after having a bad morning or something, I was that much further away from taking that regular payout. So it helped me with money management. He's doing a great job with this. And what I wanted to pull that, so pivoting from there and going back to these the winning days and the average winners being about the same as the average losers. I like that. What I like also, maybe not more than the average losing day never getting bigger than the average winning day, but still a really good thing here is David's biggest day in this account was for like $2,300, Andre. His
Amazing.
worst day was only $942.
All day, man.
And so, yeah, I mean, his biggest winning day was more than 2 times the amount of his biggest losing day. And another thing that's really nice about that too is that's a $940 loss for his worst day. He's in a $150K account where we say you can lose up to $3,000. He hasn't even come. He only went a third of his way to his daily loss limit. So that's even more discipline there. This guy is a singles hitter. He's consistently profitable. And this is just, we called him up to live because seeing this 41 days in an XFA, we have, high confidence that this trading activity is going to carry over into the live account. So happy to add him to the live prop firm. Really good stuff here. And I think I covered everything.
That was beautiful. Welcome aboard, David C. Much deserved, much earned to the big leagues. Good stuff, man. I think this is a poster child for what we're looking for. This is at Top Step. This is what we're looking for day in, day out, right?
It absolutely is. And one thing I'll add to that, you said it right. This is what we're looking for. This is the poster child. Obviously, the performance is good and the profitability is there, but also this kind of trading activity is something you can scale. If you're someone who trades ones and twos, Andre, not everybody wants to take that next step forward. But if this person's if David's trading ones and twos and averaging 274 a day, they bring the same strategy and the same approach to these markets, and they go from ones and twos to up to 4 contracts. Let's say they just double their size. We're talking about $550 average daily P&L as opposed to 274. So I like that. You always want to be finding something that's working for you that you can scale if you want to continue pushing the needle in your trading career and your business. Andre, if you liked David's stuff, let's pull up Jacob's because it's a lot of the same.
Mick, don't do it to me. Don't do this to me, Mick. Wow, talking dirty, Mick, on a Monday. I'm about
to talk dirty to you this Monday morning.
Let's see.
Or afternoon. I forgot we moved the time.
Oh, we're in the afternoon. Yeah. Jacob G.
All right. So Jacob, average daily P&L, $87. Andre, this is over 39 trading days. So we have more consistent profitability. Again, just like David, we're seeing equity indices here. Trading the NASDAQ, S&P, Russell, and a little bit of metals too. We got the gold, copper, and palladium. Excuse me, platinum. Platinum, PL.
Yeah, platinum.
I don't see a lot of people trading that. I know Deanna has done a little bit of the platinum or palladium, one of the two metals that doesn't do huge volume. But this is also good stuff. Doesn't have the exact same metrics that we saw from David, but they've got a high percent winning days. They've got only 49% winning trades, but I think the one thing I didn't comment on David's card was his risk reward. It was about 1-to-1 at like $67 per contract for the winners. And I think it was like $62 per contract for the losers. So Jacob's still got good stuff here. He's only right half the time on his trades, but look at those average winning trades per contract. He's taken down $221 per contract on his winners, and he's only risking $57 per contract on the losers. So that's 4-to-1 risk reward. I think that's right up there as like the best risk reward ratio we talk about. I think there's been a couple other people that we featured that have 4-to-1. There may have been one person who had a 5-to-1 risk reward, but I remember that being on a really small sample size of trading days and trades during the day. The more selective these people are, it's always something we see on the trading cards, Andre. It's like the fewer trades they're taking always correlates with a better risk reward, a higher risk reward, being at 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 or all the way up to 4-to-1. And then that 5-to-1 anomaly that we had a while back. I can't recall who that was, but really good stuff here. As far as the risk reward on a per trade basis, there could be some improvement on the, risk reward on the per day basis. Their average winning day is at $428. The average losing day is a little bit bigger at $521. So that's something I'd like to see them be conscious of. That was a little flipped from what we saw with David and the previous card. And then also something that's a little flipped, but it's still pretty close to 1-to-1, is their best winning day over these 39 days in the XFA was $963. Their worst day was $1,060. So their very worst day trading so far in this account was about $100 larger than their best winning day. I'm not going to give them a hard time about that. $100 is really nothing in the scheme of things with futures trading.
Right.
So no big deal there. So they're pretty selective with their trades, Andre. They average about 5.25 trades per day. Some days there's only 1 or 2 trades that take place. I like the hold times here. They're spending more than twice as much time in their winning trades as they are their losing trades. On average, they're spending 31 minutes in the winners and only 13 minutes in the losers. So they're cutting those losers quickly. Yeah, I love it. Be patient with the winning trades. Be impatient with the losing trades. I know you guys were trading the house account earlier, took a loss earlier because you just didn't have an exit. And I know that recent, I can't even remember if you're long or short, but that 10 lot you had on,
we were
covered the trade. Impatient with it. It was going against you guys. You guys were down a little over $2,000, about $3,000. You took the trade off because it wasn't working. You were impatient with it. And then guess what? You put it right back on at the same price, right? And now up money in the house account.
Up money in the real quick, Mick. We got some serious sellers here in the S&Ps and NASDAQ. New lows on the day. Dow as well making new lows. We did break beneath that 5150 level, key 5150 level in the S&Ps. NASDAQ targeting in on 18,000s to the downside, 18,000 evens, currently trading 18,062. New sellers coming in, gold catching a bid, oil catching a bid. We'll keep an eye on the headlines as they come out. But yes, let's get back to Jacob G here. But I just wanted to update people on the markets. We are seeing some movement here. We are subject to headline risk coming out of the Middle East. Every time we see a move to the downside in the equities and a pop in crude and gold, kind of feels like a new headline has come out from overseas. So we'll keep you in tune with that. Let's get back to Jacob G. Mick says, I'd like to see an average winning day larger than average losing day, but you're not going to nitpick too much because it's only about $100 spread between the two. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, this is, someone who's just, they're hitting singles. They're consistently profitable. I just threw that up there because it's something to think about. Everything's working for them right now, but subtle tweaks like that and just being aware of that kind of thing over the period of time. I mean, look, this guy traded 39 days in their XFA. If you can make small tweaks and have it play out over a long period of time, because no doubt, just like David that we talked about first, Jacob's going to spend a good long while in this live account. Small tweaks over a long period of time add up to quite a bit. I mean, I'm not going to throw any examples of extrapolation, but I don't know. I'll throw one out there, Andre.
Come on, hit me, Mick.
If you could make $100 difference, over 39 days, that's a good chunk of dough there. So, that's an extra payout or that's an extra couple payouts. Actually, unlike David, who was taking small regular payouts, we had, I already moved over to another trade report. Not unlike David. Jacob was also, taking a payout here, small amount. I actually would have loved to have seen him take some more payouts, but, he's paying himself. So I wish I would have loved to have seen him take some more payouts, small ones. I think he's done a good job. He's keeping a nice, healthy account balance maintenance level that'll carry over to the live account. I doubt that he's going to be taking 50% of his account balance out as a payout during that transfer. Good stuff here. It's what I like to see, Jacob. Let's move on, Andre. I want to talk about Edward. So Edward is the shoulder.
4 minutes
cool.
left.
We'll
here,
be quick.
We are still seeing some sell pressure here in all the equities, S&Ps, and NASDAQ. And we are starting to see us make new lows on the day, targeting 18,000 in the NASDAQ. Let's get over to Edward K. there, Mick.
Edward, yes, this is my only shoulder tap for the day. The two previous people we talked about were shout-outs. Edward is in a live account and not doing too well lately. He's on a 5-day losing streak for a little over $15,000. This is someone who is a big swinger, Andre. I know you can't see the trade report right now, but we're going to get you access to that. Edward is the guy that you probably heard about him a few weeks ago, almost a month ago, actually. Back on his first trading day in the live account, he put up $20,700 on day one. So tons of excitement from there. He hasn't traded every single day since he got this account. I know he took a little time off after he got that $20,000 day, which was probably not a bad thing because, like, I don't know, when you have windfall profits like that, I think it's good to kind of digest what maybe happened or what you did right kind of thing, because that can affect you. You know, we know that big losses will affect you psychologically, but big wins can affect you psychologically too. And it's always a slippery slope when someone is on a really good tear, like a good winning streak, or they put up a massive winning day like that, because it's only natural to think like, hey, I did a great freaking job. I'm Superman now. I'm invincible. Nothing can happen to me anymore. But he's only, since that $20,000 winning day, and he's only traded 9 days in this live account so far, he's only had 2 winners. He had a $3,700 winning day, followed by a $5,900 winning day. But everything else, those 6 other trading days, were daily loss limits of $3,000 or more hit. So, my shoulder tap to Edward is, hey, you're kind of whittling down this account a little bit, and he's not in a position where he can afford to lose $3,000 over the next 5 days. So we should probably be limiting how many trades were taken during the day. They average 21 trades a day so far in this live account, but they're trading size, and the last 5 days it's not been working. So it's time to limit how many trades you take during the day, because you don't have a great feel for the markets right now. These markets are tough. There's a lot of chop and slop. And definitely limit the position sizing, Edward. He did take a big $16,000 payout, I think after his, let me see, 4-2. How do you take a payout if
taking
you
payouts
have the
makes the money real? Money in your pocket. Like Mick's dad was telling him, you got to take something. You got to take something.
Got to pay yourself.
So you make it all worth it. You got to pay yourself.
Yeah. I'm actually a little confused how that payout took place on 4-2.
Something slipped through the cracks.
Because they didn't have the 5 winning days of, you know what, maybe could have happened. We let people carry over the winning days. If you've traded, if you have over 30 profitable days, you can request a full payout on the full amount of the account. This guy must have had a lot of winning days in the XFA that carried over that allowed him to take that payout. But I'm happy they took a big payout. What I think I'm not so happy about is it was so big. It was 50% of the account. They had a bad 5-day losing streak, and now the account balance is not looking too good to the point where they can't afford to have another 5-day losing streak. So traders, when you're profitable, when you're putting up big numbers and stuff like that, do always err on the side of caution and make sure that, hey, worst case scenario, I'm going to be able to, survive a 10-day losing streak of, my daily loss limit kind of thing. Make sure you're maintaining a healthy account balance that, will get you through a losing streak and still have a decent and fair amount of cushion to, continue profiting in the markets, because, if we have a few bad losing days, this account's going to be closed. And it's not what I want from one of our live traders or any funded trader for that matter, Andre. I know we're up on time, but these are just some tweaks that they should be making. Current state, trim down the position sizing, trim down how many trades they're making, and hopefully, string together some winning days and build the confidence back so they can, get back to doing what they're doing and, get back to doing what they were doing, and then put that pedal down when it's working and they have the confidence.
Awesome stuff, Mick. Awesome stuff. Well, we got new lows put in. We just did break the 18,000 level here in the NASDAQ. The quick headline out of Israel's military chief of staff: there will be a response to Iran's launch of so many missiles and drones towards Israeli territory. So the words are getting stronger. The moves are getting more aggressive here in the markets. Mick, without further ado, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you're busy back there in the office. Thank you so much for this. We're moving on here to, what do we got coming up? We got group coaching coming up with JD and Hug. Make sure those questions are. Mick, you the man. We're going to do this again Friday, and I'll have access to the trade reports then. I'll see you later.
All right.
Keep watching these markets.
Have a great week. Looking forward to it. See ya.
Later, Mick. Group coaching coming up next.